Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Wrestling Corner podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kozakowski, and alongside me is the homie squad right here. We're going to run down SummerSlam. We got my twin brother in the bottom corner over here, Mike Kaz. We got my homie G in the corner, Mike Gamble. And we got
What's up?
Sparkly Charles Gibson.
What
What's
up? What
up,
up?
guys? How we doing?
We're good, man. We're good. Excited for SummerSlam this weekend. How about you, man?
Dude, I'm pumped. SummerSlam is going to be huge. I love the smaller cards. I mean, it's not as big as how they used to be 10 matches, 11 matches, however they wanted to do it. Smaller, it's going to be fun. You know, we got Punk versus Drew. That's going to be absolutely fantastic. So I'm really excited to run the card down here with you folks. So we'll get started. So I'm going to give the first question to Charles Gibson here.
Oh,
Uh,
why me?
Charlie. So first match we're going to talk about Logan Paul versus LA Knight for the United States Championship. Tell me your thoughts on this match. Tell me who you predict to win.
Uh, Logan's gonna win. He hasn't had many title defenses. Like he's had what, two, I think, since he's won the title. But he's apparently didn't he just break the record for like longest US champion?
In like 10 years.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's still gonna win just to extend it because there's got to be more that's going on with the story for Logan and LA Knight. There's got to be a little bit more after that. There's no way it's just gonna halt there and have LA Knight win and then Logan's gonna hold on for at least till the next pay per view.
So your choice, Logan Paul. So we
Oh
got a
yeah,
one Logan Paul for Charles Gibson. Mike Kaz, who we going with?
I feel very similarly to Charlie, but I think Logan, it being in Ohio, I think he's really hyping up the fact that he could potentially keep this title and beat LA Knight. I just don't think it happens. I think LA Knight gets the win. He gets that title. I think he deserves a push. He should have a championship already. And I think this is the time to make that happen. He's super over. Um, yeah, I'm going LA Knight.
So we got 1-1. Money, Mike Gamble. Who we got?
All right, I'm leaving. You just called me that right now. I
He
gotta
busted
go.
out that old
He busted
Old.
out the 17-year-old backyard wrestling name, but all right. So I think there's a
CWA.
case to yeah, right. I think there's a case to be made for Logan Paul to win because we're in his hometown, which usually doesn't bode well for people in professional wrestling. It's pretty much a lock. You usually end up losing in your hometown.
Drew
But
McIntyre.
right, at the same time though, he hasn't had a lot of wins since he's been in WWE, and he hasn't had, like Mike said, a lot of title defenses. I think they're going to kind of flip that around. I think we're going to see some kind of shenanigans. I think we're going to see some kind of run in from like KSI or maybe even his brother, something like that. So I'm going to pick Logan Paul to win here.
Fair enough. So we're going to do this 2-2. I guess the Twins are going at it. So I'm going LA Knight on this one. I feel like LA Knight has been such a big draw, and the fact that the crowd's been waiting for him to put through the title win, and we haven't seen him have a title win since he's been back in WWE, NXT, WWE. We haven't seen him really win a championship. I mean, does the $1 million title really count? It's pretty much given to you. I mean, you can't really count that. LA Knight is yet to pull off a major championship. I think now is his time. It's either now or never. I think if you do it on a big stage, it just means more. And being as big of a star LA Knight is, I feel like this is the route you have to take. I think Logan Paul, they have, you could think about it this way. You have DIY fighting for the titles on SmackDown. I don't think you see both people from Cleveland, so DIY and Logan Paul retaining the title. I feel like this is Knight's time. I feel like we're going to get a new champion. I'm hoping LA Knight pulls it, but I do agree we're going to see some shenanigans. It's going to happen. It always happens in Logan Paul matches. It's not going to change. We're going to see something happen. I'm hoping LA Knight pulls it out. We shall see. So we got 2-2 here. We're going LA Knight 2, and we're going Logan Paul 2. It's 50-50 split decision.
That
Match number
prime
2.
prime hydration station is going to come into play though.
It always
it has
does,
to.
baby.
They're going to bust out that. They're going
Always.
to bust out that big bottle.
There's
Yeah.
going to be a big
I drink my
problem.
prime earlier. I would have drank it on this, but I drank it earlier. My bad.
What's your prime flavor? I'm going
Strawberry
strawberry
banana.
banana. My boy. All right.
No, listen, you guys are wrong on that, and I'll argue this with you more than anything on the show tonight. The Aaron Judge cherry, chef's kiss.
Haven't
I
had
haven't
it.
had it. Haven't
It's
had it. I'll have
fantastic.
to.
I go with what's
Fantastic.
available at Target when I'm there.
Okay, that's
I've
fair.
never
I can't argue
I've
that
never
one.
tried Prime, so you guys got me to that. So
Okay.
uh,
I would
Somebody's not a
just like
Maverick
to
over here,
add,
huh?
yeah,
I'm
right.
not a Maverick fan, sorry. Um
Dang.
next match we're going IC title. We got Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. Mike Gamble, I'm passing this one off to you first here. Who we got going?
So I think it's time for Braun Breaker to get this title win right here. Also, it is a little bit of a reason as to why I picked Logan Paul to retain. I don't think you can have that many title changes on one show. But my thought is this: Braun is looking like an absolute killer right now. After losing to Sammy once, and Sammy kind of got the best of him on Raw. That's usually kind of telltale indicator of what's going to come at the pay-per-view or the PLE. I'm sorry. And then you just add in the fact too, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I think something that may happen in the main event of this show, um, Sami Zayn may need to be freed up from that IC title to have the Usos back a little later down the calendar. So that's my thought. I think it's hard for him to get too involved in any bloodline or further storylines while also holding that IC title. So I think this is going to be a good chance to free him up, make Braun look good, put the title on him, and let that big dog eat, baby.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, so we got one over here for Braun Breaker. Charles Gibson, who we going with?
I gotta agree with G. I mean, it makes perfect sense, like he said, of something that's happening later in the night to be freed up, especially when it comes to what we know is probably coming in another pay-per-view, like
Bad
Bloodline
blood.
Civil War. He's got to be freed up. There's no way that he's retained enough. He's had a good title run. He's fine, but it's the next story for Sami Zayn.
Hell yeah. Mike Kaz, who we going with?
I'm also going Braun. I thought he should have won at Money in the Bank. Um, that was my prediction. I thought he was going to beat Sammy then. But I texted you last week. I know, Mike, you said you don't want to get too crazy or too far ahead of things, but I threw this wild prediction out there. I said Braun beats Sammy for the title. Him and Jay team up to take the tag titles from the Judgment Day. Finn turns on Damian somehow. Dom turns on Rhea. Like that whole faction's gone. But I think that's going to break up the Judgment Day. We're going to take care of that. Sammy and Sammy and Jay are going to team up somehow, or they're going to be related to the bloodline's going to something's going to happen there. But I've got Braun beating Sammy for
Okay.
that one.
Matt, before you go, let me just say this. I have a prediction for something else that's going to come a little later on the card. We'll touch back on that. That goes perfect with your theory.
With what I just said.
Yes,
All right, cool.
100%.
I've got
Yeah,
something that
100%.
kind of goes with it too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well, I definitely know where you guys are coming from. I definitely agree. I mean, what Gamble said is Braun Breaker's been on a whole nother level, absolutely killing it, just destroying people left and right. I think, like Kaz said here, is we should have seen Braun Breaker win the title last month, but I think SummerSlam's the bigger stage. We definitely have to see a big show. We have to see something big happen. And what better way to put a title on a big up and comer main event future star, Braun Breaker, put it on him at SummerSlam. Easy done. Like you guys said, Sami Zayn's freed up to do what he's got to do next. We all know where it's headed. We've seen the story. We've seen the bloodline do their thing. We'll definitely touch base on that later. But we're all on the same page here. Unanimous decision. Braun Breaker takes the IC title.
You just said Big Show twice. Is the Big Show going to show up at SummerSlam? Is that what we're alluding to?
I think so.
We need a big show. You said we need a big show. If you said it one more time, he definitely
Isn't he
show up.
still technically under contract?
Terrible joke,
somewhere
Mike.
else?
Terrible joke.
No, he's not. Probably. I don't know.
Paul White.
Oh man, Paul White strikes again. Say his
Pretty
name.
sure he's still under
appears.
contract somewhere.
AEW, ROH, something like that. He's doing something.
Ask Jeeves really quick.
Oh man. All right, so we're gonna get into the first women's match of the card here. We got Bayley versus Nia Jax. Mike Kaz, take this one away. Who we got?
Ooh.
How we looking?
All right, you're giving it to me first. I think Bayley retains. I think she beats Nia. I think Tiffany's gonna play a factor in that, but ultimately it's gonna lead to or leave Tiffy time, cashing in that Money in the Bank to beat Bailey at some point later on. So I don't think that title changes hands. And to Mike's point earlier, we can't see that many titles change hands, and I think this is one where it stays with Bailey. Nia's a powerhouse. I think she deserves something, some push somewhere. I just don't think it's here. So I got Bailey.
All right. Mike Gamble, how we thinking? Who we got?
So I tend to agree with Mike Kaz on this one. I think Bailey has to retain here. I don't think Nia Jax is necessarily the person they're going to put the title on at a big show like this. I think the big thing to watch for this match is what happens this Friday on SmackDown, because they were talking this past Friday about, you guys all saw Tiffy's briefcase got exploded into a million pieces by Bailey. I think if we see a brand new briefcase, which is what Nia was kind of promising her, I don't think we see a real quick cash in. I think that's gonna be one of those things with WWE being a business, they're gonna want to sell those bad boys. So I think it'll be one where if you see a brand new pink Tiffy time looking briefcase, that's gonna be something she holds on to for a little bit. But I think she's also involved in the finish. It could be one
Yeah.
of those where she accidentally goes to hit Bailey. Bailey ducks and hits Nia, costs her the match. And I just don't think this Nia Tiffy partnership is going to be a real long lived one. So I think this could be the start of that. And maybe we see a Nia Tiffy feud out of that and then into Tiffy going after Bailey right after that.
Absolutely. So, in that kind of a feud between Tiffy and Nia, after this all happens, in your opinion, who do you get going face and who do you get going heel?
Um, so I think Nia is just the more natural heel. Tiffy has almost got that quality to her where even when she's a heel, people still cheer for her because it's almost like the MJF thing. She's just so well loved. Yep, people love her, man. So
It's Tiffy
you
time,
you can
baby.
fight it or go with it, man.
You can't hate her.
No,
Absolutely.
There's no
For
way.
sure. For
You
sure.
can.
So, Charlie, who we got in this match?
It's same thing. Bailey easily. If in the 1% chance that Nia wins, she's just a transitional champ. She's not going to be a champ that would. And at this time, with the current push she has, there's no way that she would be a long reigning champ. So it's either Bailey wins, they continue a story with her and Tiffy, or if Nia by some miracle wins, she is a transitional champ, loses it like in a month.
No, for sure. I get it 100%. And I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you guys. I think Nia actually is going to pull this one out. You've seen her go against Bailey. Bailey, who would she defend next after Nia? Really, I mean, unless she goes into a feud with Tiffany right off the bat. I see Nia giving Tiffany the briefcase on Friday. I see Nia winning the title. I see them eventually going for the tag titles, Nia holding both. Tiffany ends up cashing in on Nia within that time frame. We see that kind of rivalry take place, but I feel like right now their kind of partnership is just starting. I don't see it going long term, but I feel like they're going to end up winning the tag titles before it ends. But I do see Nia coming out. I feel like with the momentum Nia has been building ever since Queen of the Ring, I don't see Gunther and Nia both losing, and we'll definitely touch base on the Gunther match soon here. But I do see Nia taking the title away from Bailey. Unless something different changes on Friday, that's who my pick is. So we are 3-1 on the Bailey Nia Jax match.
Have you been drug tested lately?
Yes.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, you stole my joke. I was going to ask you to scan your computer screen around your room to see if we have any loose crack cocaine visible
That's
in the
what I
background.
was getting. That's what I was
I
getting
got
close
a
to the
bunch
camera. I
of
was like
meth in
looking
my
around.
pocket, actually.
I was gonna ask when's the last time you got diagnosed, but
A long
Yeah,
time ago.
jeez.
hey man, I've had a lot of hits to the head too. It happens. Okay.
I did, all those times me and Mike would German suplex each other and stuff like that. Yeah, I got a little loosey goosey up here.
Yeah, CTE is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
For sure.
They're really fun though.
So we go from one women's match to the next. We got a huge rivalry going on, a long time in the making here between Liv and Rhea for the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley just returns a couple weeks ago. Got the Dominic Mysterio factor in the story. We're going to go ahead and give it to Mike Gamble on this one. Who we got starting? Who we got winning?
Okay, so I think Liv Morgan is going to win this match. I think Dom turns on Liv, but I don't think it's just that simple. If you guys have really been paying attention, some of it subtle, some of it not so much. Finn and Liv
Finn.
have something going on here. The room key thing in the background a couple times during promos, you could definitely see Finn and Liv either coming out of the same room or entering the same room at the same time. They've been in the Judgment Day clubhouse together alone a couple times. There's something there. Those details in WWE just don't go to waste. There's something going on there. I really think we're going to start to see the implosion of the Judgment Day here. I don't think it's a big stretch to think that Damian Priest is kind of starting to get a slow face turn, and you can't not cheer for Mommy. I think they're slowly kind of pushing them out. So I think Liv wins because of Dom, because of the whole arc of Finn being involved and them kind of starting their own offshoot Judgment Day, kicking them out.
Okay, absolutely. So we got Liv 1. We're gonna kick it here to Charles Gibson. Charlie, who we got here?
I agree that Liv is going to still retain, but in a different outcome. I think Dom tries to interfere before Rhea accidentally hits Liv, or no, before Rhea accidentally hits Rhea, Liv wins the title and whatnot. Or there might have been something still going on with Dom and Liv the entire time, because it's the same thing that you said about Finn and Liv. Dom and Liv, the same thing where, you know, Liv comes out of a lot, or Liv comes out of a room, Dom comes out of the room. And Liv had like the handkerchief in her pocket. There's just a lot of different things that have gone on between those two, between or going forward with that. So I think it's still Liv wins, just in a different way. As far as like an offshoot Judgment Day, I think Judgment Day is just going to be completely gone. Uh, that and Liv, like the whole Liv Morgan revenge tour, she still hasn't taken everything, so
Exactly.
she needs to take everything from her, and then have Rhea become the person that everybody chooses.
Okay, so we got 2 Liv here. Mike Kaz, who we got?
I'm sad, Charlie, that you didn't start that bit because this really should have been the custody of Dominic
Yeah, dude, it
version
is.
two,
It is. It's a
where
dominant custody battle version too. I've
and
been saying that for like months.
that would have been hilarious and amazing if WWE did that. I still laugh about the
They're
Eddie and
still
Ray.
technically doing it.
Yeah, they are. They are. But yeah, I'm gonna agree with Mike and Charlie here. It's Liv's revenge tour. She still hasn't taken everything. Um, I did not even think about like Finn playing a factor in this one. I thought Finn would play more of a factor in like the Damien and Gunther bout or battle somewhere. But you're right. I mean, Judgment Day is just going to implode. This is really like the beginning of the end of that faction. Rhea kind of taking her own path, Damien taking his own path, and Mike, I agree with you on like Damien getting really a huge face push. And I think Gunther is really like the guy to make that happen. But yeah, Liv, I think she's going to take over. I think Dom is going to play a factor in that. I just don't know who he's going to go after. Is he going to be in the favor of Liv, be in the favor of Rhea? Is he playing Rhea? Whatever that's going to be. But I do think Liv retains the title here. So
I think we're all in agreement here because I do agree Liv is going to end up winning the title as well, or retaining the title as well. Like you guys said, it's the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. You can't have a revenge tour without taking it from the source of everything, which is Rhea Ripley. I think Dom does come into effect. I think Mike hit it on the nail on the head. He's going to come out. He's going to pretend he's on Rhea's side. It's going to cost Rhea the match. I think that's how it's going to happen. I don't see Finn taking part in this match directly yet. I feel like the Finn Liv story is going to happen a little bit down the road. I think this is the start of the Judgment Day ending. Little by little, people are going to get eliminated, starting with Priest and Rhea. I think Liv takes Rhea's spot. I think they start eliminating slowly throughout, and it ends up being Finn and Liv at the end of it. But we did see, I don't know if you guys seen it, but I did see it on social media and stuff, is Raquel Rodriguez posting a picture of Liv Morgan. Rumors of her being on the way to return. She could come back in, be a bodyguard factor. She has history with Rhea Ripley on NXT. She has storylines with both of these women. She's been tag team partners with Liv and Rhea before in the past. Rhea on NXT, Liv Morgan on the main roster. I believe she can end up somehow being a factor in this too. Don't know how it plays out, but we will see. I do see Liv coming out on top, especially with that promo she cut last night. You know, she's got nothing left to lose and everything to gain. This is all Liv Morgan. I think this is her shot. I think she retains the title. We're going to see a long reign from Liv Morgan. So
Do you
we
think
all
all
are
of
in agreement.
do you think all of these thoughts are what makes JD McDonough's head so big? Like, do you think that's part
No,
of
I think there's a lot of nothing up there.
it's
A
not
lot of
it's
It's
a lot
either
of
that
air.
or he's just a really, really big Funko Pop or
He is a
bobblehead.
Yeah, I
Funko
was just
Pop.
saying it's a really big bobblehead or Funko Pop. That's really all there is to
That's
it.
really all it is. Like, I don't get why his head's so big.
We are in agreement on that 100%. He is a
As
Funko Pop. Nothing up there as well. You see his head move. So we all in agreement. Liv Morgan wins this match, retains the title. Next up, we spoke about this man just a few moments ago. We got Damian Priest going against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm going to give this one to Mike Kaz. Mike Kaz, who do you got first? Who do you see? How do you see this guy going? Words did not come out properly. How do you see this going? Who do you got to win?
Oh, he
Mike
froze.
Kaz vanished.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you made him
Charlie
nervous.
Anderson, we're kicking this one to you. Mike Kaz
You
vanished
made
for a
him
minute.
nervous. Priest and Gunther. Or Gunther. So I would like to say Priest's nickname, but I don't know if I can.
Which one?
Oh no. Oh no.
Undertaker. Anyways,
I hate you,
so
Charlie.
I think
first episode on the rebrand, you're gonna get me canceled.
no, he's just Undertaker. It's fine. He's just another Undertaker.
Undertaker.
So when it comes to Priest versus Gunther, I think this is the match where Finn tries to interfere and help out. Finn and Gunther on Raw. Obviously, Finn lost. Priest came out, beat up Gunther. I think Finn tries to interfere and help Priest because I think SummerSlam is really where Judgment Day is just gonna kind of break, really like, and not just start with like one match where they start breaking apart, like really just break apart. I mean, isn't JD's name still not on the shirt for Judgment Day?
No, they still haven't added him to it.
There's going to be one standing member of Judgment Day after all of this stuff happens, and that's going to be R-Truth. R-Truth is still
baby.
the only truth is going to be it's going to be Truth and Stephanie Vaquer. That's going to be the new Judgment Day.
I love it. I
Chase.
dig it. I think that's a great.
And then Dom's just going to trickle in because it would make sense of like Dom and Stephanie have already been interacting on like Twitter and stuff.
Well, also Dom also brings Nick and Tom with him as well.
There you go.
Yeah. He's got the cut for Nick and Tom.
So you got Priest
For
going
Tom
in this
and
match,
Nick.
or you got Gunther?
I got Gunther winning with Finn interfering and costing Priest a match.
Okay, so we got one Gunther. Mike Gamble, who we got in this match?
Okay, so before I make my prediction, I just want to say Charlie touched on what I think is my overarching theme of SummerSlam is the demise of the Judgment Day. And I think you see it again here. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Ring General myself as well. I think Gunther gets it done. I think it's time that he wins the title. First off, I want to say I think WWE did a really good job of making a new emerging star in Damian Priest. You know, he got the title at WrestleMania. I really wasn't too sure about it. A little rocky at moments, but he's come a long way, especially on the microphone. And I would argue that he's really kind of now hitting his stride. And I think that's the perfect time to kind of transition away. You know what? He had a good, really good, solid first run. He's been elevated to a new level on the card, in my opinion. I've seen him in a new light this whole title run. I think he's done a very good job with what he's been given here. I think Gunther is just, he's going to be a generational all-time talent watching right in front of our eyes. I think this is the time to put the title on him. But I will say, I think Gunther beats him clean, straight up, no interference. And I think for two reasons. Number one, we've already booked interference a couple times throughout the show. I know it's WWE and that's their favorite thing to do, but I don't think we're going to see interference after interference after interference after interference. I think what the angle out of this is going to be is this is where Finn starts to get puffy back, whether it's later on this show, whether it's a big part of Monday Night Raw the following Monday, but it's going to be the whole, you're the leader of the Judgment Day and you couldn't get it done. Where's your title? And slowly kind of start to take the reins. And as Charlie kind of touched on, the theme starts, the demise of the Judgment Day. I don't think they completely implode at SummerSlam, but I think you really start to see the crack.
Oh, absolutely. No, I definitely agree on that. So we definitely have two people here for Gunther. Mike has disappeared here for a little bit. Computer issues, I'm assuming. It's okay. It happens. So Mike, who we got going between Priest and Gunther here?
Yeah, see, joys of living in Lowell, Indiana. So I would sorry, I don't know, I didn't hear what anybody else had said, but sorry, I got some dog hair in my mouth. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between this one because I thought Gunther was going to get a big push earlier in the year, right? I thought he was going to win a title at some point earlier after like losing the IC title. I thought it was going to be a quick like put him in, but I know the stories didn't align for that to happen. However, I think like Damian is getting like a huge push. He was super over that last week or 2 weeks ago when he came out and Gunther was making those jokes about living in the streets and all this other stuff. And I don't think he was getting the pops he is getting now. And I think Damian retains, but I think what that opens up is him allowing Seth to re-challenge him for the title. Seth is going to win that. And what that's going to bring back is like a triple threat or like a fatal four-way between, Damian, throw him in the mix, but Drew, CM Punk, and Seth. So whatever that looks like, I think Damian retains to allow Seth to challenge him again for the title at some point. Winning that, and then obviously things will come later with CM Punk and Drew. But I think that's going to play a factor in the outcome of that match. I know it's out there. It really should be Gunther, but I think Damian wins.
So we got two Gunther, one Priest. I'm going to say Gunther too. I'm going to say this. Up until about 2 weeks ago, I wasn't sold on Priest being champion. Gamble, we've talked about this numerous times in the last recent
I
weeks.
know.
I'm not a big believer in Priest as a world champion, but ever since the promo that he called him out from living on the streets, stuff like that, and we've seen the passion behind Priest's eyes and how he was talking and how he handles himself the last couple of weeks, getting that babyface reaction. I think that's the Damian Priest we needed in this title run. I don't think Damian Priest is a natural born heel. He's somebody that can easily be a tweener or a face. He's not going to get over as a massive heel like somebody like Gunther would. And that's okay. Damian Priest is super talented in the ring. I just wasn't getting that vibe from him ever since he turned face a couple weeks ago, in a sense, because still he's in the Judgment Day. He's still not 100% face, but it's leaning towards that. But I think it's Gunther's time. I think if you don't do it for Gunther now, if you're not going to do it for LA Knight, you're going to do it for Gunther. One of them got to win the title. This is their chance. This is their time. They're both getting closer to 40. I think if you want to make them a bigger star, this is the chance you do it. I think Gunther walks away as the champion. I do see Finn Balor causing some shenanigans leading to Priest lose the title. I do see Gunther's reign not being long-term like his IC title. I do see somehow at WrestleMania, we see Seth Rollins versus Punk, or Seth Rollins, Punk, and McIntyre. Somehow, some way, some kind of grouping of those three going for that title at WrestleMania. But right now, I feel like it's Gunther's time to win. I'm going Gunther on this one. So we're going to say we got three Gunther, one Priest. Somehow Mike Kaz is going to end up knowing this one more than we do. It's okay.
Probably not, but who
the newest wrestling fan in this group knows more than us.
I mean, he can do a lot of research.
He can. Yes.
What's that, Mike?
For sure.
Matt, who'd you say who's close to 40? Gunther? Because Damian's over 40.
Gunther's going closer to 40, but you got LA Knight, who is in 40s, Priest, who's just turned 40 or 41, So they're all right there. I think they capitalized on Priest at the right time to kind of see if they can. And I feel like Priest still has years left. I feel like they all do. But if you want to give a title to them, their first title, now's the time to do it. So I do think it's Gunther's time, though. But Priest has killed it. I do give him credit for what he's done. He made me a believer at the end of it. He beat Drew McIntyre, which I didn't think was going to happen. Beat Seth Rollins, didn't think that was going to happen. Mike Kaz might be right on this one. Priest might make us think Gunther's going to win this one. And
Hopefully he kicks out though.
we shall see.
Yeah.
Only a few days away here. We will see what happens, but I do believe one thing's for sure. This is the ending of the Judgment Day.
I would say the 40, like the close to 40 or whatever, doesn't matter too much because as we'll get to it later on, the best in the world is 45. So
Right.
Yes.
And just to kind of add on to that too, Cody Rhodes did an interview. God, I can't remember what platform or when, but he even talked about like adding in like your psychology and everything. Wrestling Prime is different than Athletic Prime. Wrestling Prime is kind of almost about 10 years behind your actual Athletic Prime. So you really don't start really hitting your prime until like 36, 37. So,
Oh, for sure. I mean, we're seeing
yeah.
Chad Gable do it now. Chad Gable's what, 36, 37. We're seeing him
Yeah.
kill it right now. So, yeah, no, definitely. I think back in the day, we would have said, like, okay, late 30s, that's when they start slowing down. But we're seeing it more and more where wrestlers in their 40s, 50s are just killing it. Like, look at a guy like PCO. He's still doing his friggin' thing, and he's what, almost 60? Like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ,
Ric
Well,
Flair is still kicking.
Yeah.
His last
and
match was great, but still,
yes, yeah, the last match was something to behold. But
he's still gonna
yeah,
have
I
one
just
more.
think and one more and one more and one more because somebody's gonna give him a paycheck. But
Oh.
I just think there's a point where like the psychology and the experience kind of meets perfectly with the age, and that's why that's pushed back a little more too.
Speaking of aging perfectly, we're getting our story from Bloodline 2.0, and it's just molding, I think, fantastically. I think Solo's doing a great job. A lot of people shit on Solo. I can't be one of those guys. We've talked about it week after week here, G. I love the Bloodline 2.0. You know that for a fact. Let's talk about this match right here for the WWE Undisputed Championship. The match that a lot of people are saying they didn't want to see because they don't think Solo's ready. I'm ready for this match. Rhodes versus Solo. Charlie Gibson, take this one away.
I do want to start out with just talking about Bloodline 2.0. Fatu is a menace. Jacob Fatu. That
Yes.
dude is
Insane.
borderline like, please call the cops. But as far as the actual match, it's tough to say because if Solo wins, that kind of helps set up Civil War between the Bloodline first Bloodline. I would say I'd still see Rhodes taking it though, just to keep his title reign going, and the whole fact of if Solo loses, that just proves more and more and more that he's not head of the table. He's not like the line material. And also, I think for some reason, I don't know why, I think Roman's appearing at SummerSlam. I think he's going to make an appearance. He's got to. It's been a while.
Yep.
So Charlie,
Especially like if Solo loses, that sets up perfectly for Roman to come back and claim head of the table. Paul Heyman goes back to him instead of which is what I wanted to happen, which is when Heyman said, "Hey Punk, take me with you." I was hoping Heyman just went back to Punk's camp, but I think Roman
one day.
I think he was in the corner crying. Punk's like, "Nah, it's fine." But
so Charlie,
no,
you
I
kind of
think
give 50-50 here. So who are we going?
so. I think Rhodes is gonna win. Solo, it's gonna make Solo look like he's not head of the table, and Roman's gonna make an appearance.
All right, so we got one Cody Rhodes here. Mike Kaz, who we got in this match?
That's tough. I feel like I'm in agreement with Charlie. It could go 50-50 in most cases. Like Cody already finished his story. He's got the title. He's defended it 4 times already or 5 times. Something like that since Mania. I love that he's a crazy active champion. It's huge. It's like what WWE needed in that regard. But I think to prove that Solo is a true leader of this Bloodline 2.0, I think he has to win here. I think Roman does make an appearance, but I think that just fuels Solo's ability to beat Cody. You obviously are going to have Jacob and Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. Everybody's going to be around. They're going to play a factor in this somehow, either preventing Roman from making an entry to the ring or doing something to Cody, whatever that looks like. I think Solo wins, and I think that sets up something for bad blood between either him and Roman, or between those two factions. Roman gets his line of the bloodline together, rekindling with Jay, Sammy, or whatever. I don't know what it all looks like, but yeah, I think Solo's going to win. I don't think it throws. I don't think it takes Cody out of the title run. I think he comes back and he wins it eventually at some point later. But I think Solo takes it at SummerSlam.
Oh, absolutely. No, I definitely understand that one too. Both solid arguments there. So we got 1-1. So we're gonna pass this here to Mike Gamble. See if we can break this tie here and who he's gonna go with. Gamble, who we got?
Okay. So here's the thing. The fact that people question whether or not Solo Sikoa is ready to be the leader of the judge, or the bloodline, I'm sorry, ready to be the head of the table, the tribal chief. I don't think those questions are by accident. I think that's very much so on purpose. I think Jacob too coming in and also making people wonder whether or not Solo Sikoa really is the top dog in the bloodline, I don't think is an accident. I think it's very much purposeful. I think the point of all of this goes back to, what did Roman Reigns say to Solo Sikoa? You're not ready. I think we see that again this weekend at SummerSlam. I think Cody Rhodes beats Solo. I think Cody retains. I think Roman comes back. I don't think he interferes in the match, but I think the point is, Solo, you're not ready. I think Roman is coming for revenge for the wise man. I think Roman's coming back to take the head of the table. I think he's coming for the bloodline. I think this also gives us time for Cody to go off, do his own thing. We still really need a Cody Randy Orton story. I don't think that's not happening. And then I think it circles back to, as big adversaries as Roman and Cody were, Roman at some realize he's going to need the American Nightmare to even up the odds, and to even the score with the guerrilla tactics and everything that we see week in and week out with the new bloodline. So I think, we've kind of talked about in a couple different spots. It's almost been like the WWE Avengers. I think this is where the Civil War comes together, and the ultimate adversaries have to come together for the common good to take down what is the ultimate evil, which is Solo's Bloodline 2.0, which can't be stopped.
Very solid point there as well. So we got two Cody. It's a tough decision on this one, honestly. Gamble, until you just pointed out the whole Roman saying to Solo he's not ready, I was 100% for Solo. I think that you kind of broke that argument. I feel like, the way Mike made it, the way Charlie made it as well, is like, you want to talk about being the head of the table, the big dog, the top of the food chain, like Solo Sikoa has been doing. The way to do that is to beat Cody Rhodes. He already pinned him last month. He could do it again easily. It's not like it's hard to pin Cody Rhodes. It's happened a few times since he's been back. Not a lot, but a couple. And it takes a lot, right? But we have a dangerous group in the Bloodline 2.0. Tonga Loa, especially, the greatest one of them all. Thank you. Anyway, so we have. I was waiting for somebody to give me like a bird shirt
Mr.
or something.
Gooch?
Like, what the fuck?
Mr. Gooch Striker?
As the resident New Japan fan, let me tell you guys, you ain't seen nothing yet when it comes to Tongaloa. You ain't seen nothing yet.
I'm excited. So I was gonna give it to Solo. I don't think Rhodes' story is ended yet. I think a story ended for him when he won the WWE Championship. I don't think it's ended yet because he's still got another story to tell, and that's going to be against Randy Orton to finish with the bloodline, to continue down that path. I don't think Cody loses the title at least until WrestleMania next year. I don't see him dropping it anytime soon. I feel like we're going to get another long title reign, and I feel like that's what the World Heavyweight Championship does, is it kind of juggles it along. It doesn't give year-long reigns. I think that's the title that you could put more focus on, having multiple champions, where the WWE could be something like it was back in the day where it was prolonged champions for a long period of time. And I think Cody Rhodes is the perfect advocate for that title.
Right.
So I don't see Rhodes losing yet. I see Solo somehow getting very, very close. But like Gamble said, is Roman telling Solo he's not ready yet? I feel like the way that this can go, by Roman saying that, we see Solo somehow pinning Roman. I see that ending eventually here. I mean, it won't end that way, but I do see Solo end up pinning Roman somehow, some way down the road. But in this match, this scenario, Rhodes takes the title from Solo, or Rhodes retains the title from Solo. We see a return of Roman Reigns. It's going to be one hell of a night there. Let's talk about the main event. It's probably not the main event, but in my opinion, in all of our opinions, it should be. We've seen
we know
hottest story in
it's
professional
Mike's main
wrestling
event
right now.
It's Mike's main event for sure. And that's why I'm going to give the ball to Mike Kaz here first in a minute. Don't you shake your head. No, this is a conversation we've had
No,
for
I
months.
see Mike flexing his Second City Saints shirt. I should have put my
Yeah,
Scottish Warrior
buddy.
shirt on, but my
But no, this feud's been brewing over for since November of last year.
Okay.
Before Royal Rumble, we've seen this whole thing culminate to where it's at right now. Mike Kaz, take this one away. We know who your choice is. We've talked about it, but let's hear the audience. Let's hear them, what you're going to say to them. Go ahead and take this away.
I got to go with my boy CM Punk. No, I'm just kidding. Drew McIntyre. He's got to win. I think it'd be crazy for him to lose in Scotland, for him to lose at WrestleMania, like to lose Money in the Bank, like all three of those being a factor, or being CM Punk being a factor in all of those losses. I don't think you can put CM Punk over in this match. I just don't see it. I'm surprised he hasn't torn a bicep or injured himself just seeing his name on the card. Like, I think Drew wins. I think he's a phenomenal. I think he's the best in. I think he's the best in the ring. I think he's
best in the ring.
Top tier.
Okay.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No, Charlie. Who is?
I said no. You said best in the ring. It's funny you didn't say best in the world.
Okay, whatever. Fuck it. That's trademarked already, so I can't say that. No, I think he's super solid in the ring, and like even if you look at the matches with Gunther and Seth and stuff, like he's phenomenal. I think he has to win this match. It's obviously not the end of their feud. CM Punk's going to get a couple over on him. He's going to get a couple over on Punk, but ultimately him winning here is going to lead to, like I said, potentially a triple threat match for the title against Seth Rollins at Bad Blood. Seth might take the title.
You also got to add in that Seth is the guest ref.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he's got a phenomenal outfit for it. I love it. I'm a huge Seth fan. I think he's phenomenal too. He's fun. He's great. Super in the ring. But I think Drew has to win this. I just don't know how Seth is going to ref this match, or what outside factors are going to play a part in it. But I do think Drew takes this. I think you have to give it to him. He has to take it in order to keep that fight, because you can't have CM Punk screw him over 3 times, then get the win immediately when they first meet each other in the ring. And then where do you go from there? I think it's Drew wins this one. CM Punk wants his revenge. You've got this back and forth. And then they're ultimately going to pair up against each other for a title run sometime later in the year or early next year. But Drew, that's where I'm going.
All right. So we got one Drew solid argument. We're going to pass it to Mike Gamble wearing the Second City shirt over here. We obviously know the choice. Mike Gamble, what's the reason for CM Punk?
Who's Who's picking CM Punk?
Oh, okay.
Listen, CM Punk is my guy. He's been my guy for a long time, but Mike is 100% right here. The winner of this match will be Drew McIntyre. I would like to preface this by saying I think all three of these guys that are involved in this match are absolutely incredible. Just the upper top tier echelon with guys like Cody and Roman of the WWE. No questions asked. I think, like Mike said, I think Drew needs this win based on, what's gone on in the past. Punk screwing him over, screwing him over, screwing him over. I think Drew is the one that stands to gain the most by winning. I don't think Punk is hurt with a loss if done the right way, which I'm going to touch on in a second. And I think a Punk loss, the way I'm going to predict this to happen, sets up a much bigger feud. So another reason that I think Drew needs to win. Where do we go from here? First and foremost, if I think what's going to happen, which always seems to happen when there's a special guest referee, the special guest referee plays a very big part in the outcome of the match. What's the real here? What was supposed to be the other main event of WrestleMania last year? Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Drew McIntyre gets this win, and then I think he's the guy that moves on to face Gunther, or we'll just say, because that was my prediction, but we'll say it's Damian Priest. I think that kind of pushes him back into that. I think we still do circle back to Punk and Drew at some point. I don't think we're done there. I think that will also be a multi-match feud, but I think it's a little more layered than just pay-per-view after pay-per-view after pay-per-view or PLE after PLE after PLE. But I still think the loss here serves more to set up Seth versus Punk. Also, another thing, again, if we're paying attention to the details, there's a theory going on online that holds a lot of water. They're playing into Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, 1997.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels screws over Bret Hart, screws over Bret Hart, screws over Bret Hart. Bret Hart goes in the ring. This is bullshit. I quit. Special guest referee match. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels accidentally screws him over. It leads to a certain pay-per-view that we just got back this year. Bad Blood. Who wrestled in Bad Blood? The Undertaker, who is more or less the placeholder spot of Drew McIntyre here, and Shawn Michaels. Funny how all that comes together. You got to pay attention to those little details sometimes. So that's where I think we're going with this. So I think if we're paying homage to the past properly, you look forward to who needs the win the most, and then you add in the fact that I think setting up Seth versus Punk is the real big money match. Drew McIntyre is going to win because Seth Rollins is going to cost CM Punk the match.
All right, so we got two for McIntyre, and that's a very solid argument as well. Actually made me think a lot, but I don't think I'm going to change my opinion, and we'll get that to there.
All right, guys, I'm out. I made Matt think. That's borderline impossible. I've done all I can do here.
Yeah, thanks, G. Appreciate you. Charlie Gibson, who we got here? I know your favorite wrestler of all time is Jack Perry. So,
okay, yeah, it was nice.
Hey,
Guys.
the resemblance is striking too, by the way.
Oh, I'm definitely out of here. No, no. Sorry, I'm not Jungle Boy, nor do I use real glass. I'm good.
So Charlie,
please don't cry me a river at all. Anyways, I'm going with Drew only because it just touches exactly Seth is gonna somehow mess it up for Punk, and then we finally get we wanted at WrestleMania Seth versus Punk. We've been wanting that. We've been wanting to have that for a very long time, and we're actually gonna get that with Seth and Punk. So Drew easily will win this. I just don't. It's going to be a good match regardless. But I feel like we are calling all these matches the way we are, and we're all going to be wrong somehow.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
The reason why I feel that way is like the writing that WWE has now is so good that it gets to a point where everyone just has like 4 different theories for a match, and they're all wrong. like the predictions of when the Wyatts were coming back, everybody was wrong because everyone thought it was Clash at the Castle.
Yep.
The writing is so good that everything we're predicting could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
But with the Punk Drew and Seth as the special ref, Drew's gonna win. Hopefully, Seth's outfit, even for the guest rep, is even more than what it was on Raw.
Monday. Yeah.
Hopefully, it's even more. Hopefully, the shoulders are bigger. I need them bigger,
More
like the
fluff.
SpongeBob muscle arms. I need those.
No. I need the Shawn Michaels. I need the biker shorts. Show some
Uh,
thighs, Seth. Like let's get the ladies going here a little bit.
I was gonna say the
Or
exact same
I think
outfit,
he's
but
a
I'm
little
like, how does
self-conscious
Seth
about
pull
his
that off
legs.
when he wears all those weird pants? You know what I'm saying? Like,
he needs more feathers. He needs more feathers and like a
yes.
Yeah.
headdress.
So, hey, real fast, if I could just touch on one thing, Charlie, I do think one thing you said is 100% right. I think the writing with the WWE, that's kind of one of the reasons I predicted this stuff with the Finn stuff with the Judgment Day. So there's a lot of times in wrestling storylines and stuff where the obvious choice is the correct choice. But I think there's also a lot of times they set you up for the obvious choice to go in a completely different direction with a swerve. So I could totally agree that they may be hitting us with something we don't see coming in all of this. So yeah, that is a good point. That is something to watch out for.
You got to M. Night Shyamalan him sometimes.
Well, like Triple H
Got
said
to, baby.
like Triple H said in the WrestleMania YouTube video that they posted a few weeks ago or about a month ago, he said he has an idea of where the destination is, but sometimes it's going to have its twists and turns to get there, but it's still going to end up where he wants it. So I feel like this can go anyway, but we are destined for Punk versus Seth at Mania. How we get there, we still got what 8-9 months to get there. It's going to be a fun story. With this match, so I know you guys all go McIntyre. I know the reasons are valid. I got to give it to Punk here. The only reasons being is Drew has done so much to also try to get under Punk's skin on socials, on behind the scenes. And yeah, Punk has been costing him. Punk's first match on live TV in a singles match in WWE for the first time in 10 years, I do not see as a loss. I can't see it as a loss. I don't think it's going to happen. I think because of how big SummerSlam is, and because they've hinted at this numerous times with AJ Lee showing up and Drew McIntyre doing the wristband thing on Monday, in live in the ring with AJ's name on it. Somehow, some way, AJ Lee comes back, costs Drew the match. Drew has another reason to be pissed at Punk. At Bad Blood, they have a specialty match, Hell in a Cell, something, and McIntyre completely kills him then. I think then Punk's off TV for a little bit, comes back at Rumble, beats Drew McIntyre for the title, faces Rollins at WrestleMania. That's how we get there. I think that could work out very well. I'm going to go Punk on this one. I don't see a scenario of him losing in this first match. You guys all made very valid points, and it almost swayed my decision. Mike knows how big I'm into Drew. G knows. Charlie knows. Not Drew. Punk. I almost turned.
Nope. You said Drew. You can't take it
You
back.
said Drew. You can't take it back.
Scottish
Well,
Warrior.
I guess we're all going Drew here. So, match of the card here. We're going to go 3 Drew, 1 CM Punk. How are we going to rate this card? A through F ahead of time. What do you guys see going on? Do you guys see anything other special things happening at SummerSlam? We'll start with Gamble on this one. Gamble, go ahead.
Well, first off, I just want to circle back and just talk about once again how masterfully done this Punk Drew story has been. Matt, like you just kind of touched on, they touched one time in the ring at the Royal Rumble in January, and this is somehow the hottest feud in professional wrestling right now. I think this match alone is what pushes this to another level. But Matt, just talking about what are the surprises, things like that. This is SummerSlam. SummerSlam this day and age is the second biggest show of the year next to WrestleMania. So there's gonna be some kind of surprises. I think we see Jake Paul in some capacity or another involved, especially being in Cleveland. The Miz is gonna be there. So I think there's, as the host, I think there'll be some kind of shenanigans with him, whether they have a Cleveland celebrity. God, I hope it's not LeBron. I hope he's still in the Olympics at that point, which he should be actually.
He got his first one with Miami. He should just.
Yeah, well, I hate LeBron. That's a whole story for another day, but whatever. There'll be some kind of deal going on there. I'm sure there'll be some kind of celebrity. I don't know if we have any other real surprise returns or anything like that on the books per se, but I do think we see lots of twists and turns with, like I said, the Judgment Day stuff, the Bloodline stuff. I will just say this: in the event we're all wrong on the Bloodline stuff and it's Roman Reigns, I don't think it would happen. But the coolest surprise, a cool swerve would be if it's not Roman, it's Dwayne coming back. I don't think it would happen, but if you were going to swerve it, that would be a sweet way to do it.
I did see somebody actually post that on socials earlier. Somebody said if it's not Roman, this is where you bring back The Rock to kind of say I was against Roman the whole time, kind of get that sway going and having it separate. But I could see that happening for sure. You know, obviously we're going to see a Cleveland celebrity, especially when we always have a wrestler as a host. We always see somebody special come in. But yeah, I think Jake Paul makes a appearance too somehow, some way. I can't wait to see what happens there. Charlie, do you think any surprises are going to happen? What are your other predictions? Any other thoughts going into this? And what would you think that the score of the rating is going to be here?
Wait, can I just pause you, Charlie? What were you laughing about?
I was laughing about what I was about to say. So we're going to take it back to the celebrity that's going to show up randomly, right? I think it happened quite a while ago, and I think it was at a Rumble in Ohio. We're getting Drew Carey back. Drew Carey's coming back.
Cleveland rocks. Yeah, that would be great.
I mean, it would make sense. Just Drew Carey just comes back. He just does something. I don't know.
Can he leave Kane at home?
He interferes for Logan.
Can he leave Kane at home?
He brings the prices. He brings the prices right wheel.
So dumb.
It's by the
So you're thinking Drew Carey. All right,
no,
good choice. Good choice.
Legitimately, I think Jake Paul's gonna have something to do with it because he's been trying to do he's been trying to make some kind of UFC alternate for a while, and I think he's finally just gonna go ahead and stop trying to do that and just join his brother in the ring for at least make an appearance. And if it goes further, awesome. Because honestly, that's kind of something I see in the future is Jake Paul joining, and then we actually have another two brothers in WWE, which would be cool. As far as like any other people coming in, I didn't even think about The Rock coming out at all during Rhodes and Solo. But The Rock coming back in, like just talking about Bloodline and whatnot, that would be decent. But as far as like rating the card, I kind of think I'd just give it like a B for right now. I mean, once all the matches actually happen, I can give it a fair rating. But as far as the card itself, I can give it a B just because personally, the match that I don't think is going to be like, they're all going to be very entertaining matches, like every single one. The least entertaining out of all of them being very entertaining, the least entertaining will probably be Bailey and Nia. At least that's just my opinion. I think Bailey and Nia is going to be like the least. It's going to be exciting, but it's stacked against all these other great matches that it's going to be the least exciting of those matches.
Well, because all the other ones have like an extra benefit, extra X factor to it. So I think that's where the other one is like, yeah, it has the money in the bank, but you don't get something like the Bloodline return or Dominic Mysterio screwing one of the girls over, you know, the outcome of Punk versus Drew. So I definitely see why you would say that one has potential to be the least exciting, but they all are
still going to be good. It just, it's going to be like, that's the match people are going to shit on.
Oh, for sure. No, 100%. But no, definitely solid choices as well.
Yeah.
Mike Kaz, are there any extra surprises, any other things you think that are going to happen at SummerSlam?
I just want to add, I know I was laughing like 5 minutes ago. Charlie was for a different reason. But Matt, when you said we're definitely going to get a Cleveland and I heard an S, I thought you were going to say Steamer. And I just
that's what I thought.
And then Charlie wants to talk about a match getting shit on. I just thought it was perfect. So I'm just glad. I'm glad we're not getting that. But no, I mean, being new to wrestling, I haven't seen a SummerSlam in a while. But it being the biggest party of the summer, you're definitely gonna have some twists and turns. I did think The Rock might make an appearance, if not now, setting up something for him to make a couple appearances before Bad Blood, because obviously that's going to be a factor in that bloodline split. Um, maybe Brock Lesnar bringing a front loader somewhere, lifting up the ring. That'd be kind of cool. That was what, 2 years ago, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any other surprises. Jake Paul would be cool to see. You're obviously going to get someone from Cleveland. Drew Carey would be hilarious. Yeah, I got nothing to add, but I would give the card a B2. I think after seeing the matches and the outcomes and everything, we might bump that grade up because it is a very solid card.
Yeah. Hey,
No,
Matt,
I definitely agree. What's up?
can I jump back in? Because I actually did not give the card a rating. And I also had one real quick thought I wanted to add, especially with this whole Endeavor UFC WWE merger. Isn't Stipe Miocic, the UFC heavyweight from Cleveland? Maybe we
He is
see
from
him.
Cleveland.
That'd be pretty dope. So yeah, I didn't rate the card, my B dog. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that real fast. I'm gonna go with a B to a B plus. So here's what I go with. Again, SummerSlam is supposed to be like the second biggest show of the year now, next to WrestleMania. That's the way they kind of treat it. I just kind of try to look back comparatively to how I felt going into WrestleMania. I don't know about you guys. I was giddy as 7-year-old Mike G watching WrestleMania 16 for the first time, watching WrestleMania this year. It had me all the feels, turned me back into a little kid. This doesn't quite have that same feel, but it's another one where it's like you said, Matt, there's enough going on here where if things play out the way they could, this could end up being a really memorable card. It's just the front end hype isn't what it was for me at WrestleMania.
Oh,
So
for
I'll
sure.
go B plus.
And I think it's because, like, we kind of saw it coming and it wasn't like a lot of surprises. We've seen the stories already involving in the last few months. So we kind of already estimated on where we would know where all these went through. It doesn't mean that the card's going to suck. The card, like we said, I mean, very solid card. And if all the matches go the way we think they can go, and, we all have our imaginations, how it could all go different ways, twist turns, everything like that. I do say that this card can easily be a B plus, A minus. I think it's very solid. I think with how the cards can go, it could be hit and miss, right? A match like Bailey and Nia could be good and it could flop. Punk versus McIntyre looks fantastic on paper, but we've seen what happened in Punk at the Royal Rumble is he was coming off a little slower a little bit, and then he got injured first match back. So, I mean, that match could easily start within 5 minutes. Punk could get hurt. So anything can happen. And it's a very scary match, but if everything works the way that we think it can, this could be one of the most memorable SummerSlams of all time.
That's a bold statement, my
Gotta
guy.
agree. Gotta
Of
agree.
all time.
But until SummerSlam, guys, I think SummerSlam's going to be
Which
great.
can we
Thank you
add?
guys.
That is a very Matt statement of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time. It is.
I get that about a match about once a week. That was my favorite triple threat match of all
Yeah.
time. Matt, calm down. It was just Raw,
Of
okay?
all time.
I told G I watched 3 matches in New Japan, and I was like, I think this dude is my favorite in New Japan of all time. And he's like, dude,
Yeah.
you haven't even
I
watched
got him to
I'm
watch the
good.
G1, and it was Bolton Oleg, a dude that like just graduated from like their academy. So like basically it would be the equivalent of just coming up from like NXT. The guy's got like 11 matches under his belt. Okay, this guy's gonna be great. This is my new. I'm like, you didn't even see like the mid card guys, let alone the main eventers. You're already picking a favorite. Like, let's pump them a little bit, kid.
Pump the
I mean,
brakes.
if you're gonna talk about matches of all time, I gotta ask you about what was it? MJF and that other guy wrestling for an hour.
Oh, Will Ospreay.
Yep.
Will
I
Ospreay.
will always refer to him as that other guy.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I don't know why you do that. That other guy's probably the best in-ring wrestler on the planet right now, but that's a story for another time.
That is, yeah.
We'll do a show just on Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
The full timers that wanted part time.
SummerSlam's going to be great, guys. I want to thank you guys all for being a part of the first episode of the rebrand for the Wrestling Corner podcast. Till next time, guys, I was your host, Matt Kozakowski. Peace out.
Thanks for having us. Bye, guys.